I always didn't know how to start these. I just gone, Dean, like that. But right then, Dean, welcome back. Last time, obviously, 76 pounds down. I had to research that today, by the way. And obviously, what we said would get you straight back on here if you hit your weight loss goal. So, have you hit your weight loss goal?
Yes.
So how much is that down then? I'll tell you what, since I know obviously we've done the shred bit as well, but it's like, say from, so how much are you down from when you started and when you started as well? And how long that process has been? Like all in one rather than the break up bits?
So 116 and a half total.
Yeah.
And it was 11 months for the shred.
To the day?
To the day.
Fucking hell. It's unreal, isn't it? Like, probably because it's always easy from me, Luke, fucking Sarah, whatever else, we can say how people did it. How have you done it?
It's just consistency, really. You need to stick to a plan that'll work for a long period, and you can't like be regimental when you've got that much weight to lose. You can't just turn around and say, right, I'm going to be all in. I'm not gonna eat out. I'm not gonna have a drink because you've literally got too much weight to lose. When you have got that, I mean, like I say, my goal was 8 stone.
Yeah.
So I lost a bit more than that for the shred. By the time I've put a little bit back on last week, I'm pretty much around about the 8 stone mark now. So it's like
you've lost Abby.
Aye, basically. So you can't like just turn around and think, well, I'm not gonna eat, drink, do whatever in that period because you'll just go mad. I mean, when I first started here, I was probably aiming to do a shred probably next January because I thought that's probably how long it would take.
So like a year.
So I thought to lose 8 stone would probably take us a couple of years.
Yeah.
But it just sort of flew off.
11 months later.
Aye.
But so how's like, let's talk even the nutrition elements of it, because same again, we can easily say he did this, and this, and this, but from your obviously mouth, how's your like, say your meals and that throughout the year, and obviously and the nights out and still enjoying it? So
I mean, the nights out, what I did beforehand wasn't sustainable for life in general, because just like you can only go on buying bigger clothes for so long before something's got to change. We talked about last time the health reason, the health kick up the arse was one reason to change. Second, like it was just aesthetically, and you were starting to struggle to like do general things, move around, you're out of breath tying your shoelaces, stuff like that. So I sort of set out the goal of like, well, I'm going to lose that amount, or let's see where I get to and see where I'm happy. But to do that, you can't just go all in when you've got that much weight to lose. So it's like, I didn't have that many times. I was quite lucky in some respects of like, when I was on it for the week, like I didn't have anything planned or I didn't go out, it was like there was only probably once or twice I didn't like see a difference on the scales until I started the shred, and then it was like, then I had like a 3 or 4 week block, and that happened twice where it was like, well, I've stuck to it, I've accounted for every single thing, I'm under the calories, I've upped the exercise tenfold and I'm still not losing weight. It's like frustrating, but it was, I think you've just got to get your mindset around, like if you want to go out for a night out, you go out, and then you've just got to acknowledge when you get on the scales on a Sunday morning that it's not going to be as good as it was last week when you didn't go out.
Yeah.
But what I did was, when I didn't have anything planned, I stuck to be 2,200 calories.
Right.
Like pretty much all the time. Unless
that was from the start?
That was from the start.
Right, okay.
So it was, I didn't like differ from that. I mean, my diet's probably still not the greatest, if I'm honest. I mean, like I say, fruit and veg. I eat a bit of fruit, I eat a bit of veg. Not as much as you should.
Yeah.
So
same.
So just take supplements instead. It's easier. But it's like chicken and rice. It's like people say, "Oh, well, do you not get bored of it?" It's like, well, that's just something to eat, isn't it, during the day when you're at work? It's like, it doesn't matter what you're eating.
Yeah.
As long as you like what you're eating, it's like, it's the same every day. But so.
Well, exactly. I think from Nicky's podcast, I don't know if you listen to it, but it's like, say that food though. What everybody says is like bland fucking chicken. I can't eat chicken and rice every day, but say the chicken, because I eat chicken and rice every day. It might be chicken thighs, but that chicken and rice every day is sort of the new normal for you. And if you're going back to the food you were having before, it's going to be the same results, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, is it worth it then?
No, definitely not. But it's quite interesting when you see people, I just couldn't eat that every day. Yet they'll have a sandwich
Yeah,
and
yeah,
four biscuits in a full fat pot, and you're like, well, you have the same thing every day.
It is. It's just they never ever see it in that light, really, do they? So I always use that example as well. Same ham sandwich, same bag of crisps, same chocolate bar every single day, and then same snack when they're going to a vending machine or whatever else, and they always have that every day. But I think with you, this is like hopefully the new normal.
But I was the same. It's like when we were out in Holland, it's like you could get whatever you wanted for your dinner.
Yeah.
It was like one of the lads who was like, he was in really good shape, and he was getting like a salad, and now I'm thinking, nah, I'll stop a meatball panini. But it's like couldn't eat that every day. But now it's like, well, you do eat that every day, really. I mean, it might not be a salad, but it still hits the protein and fat goals.
Just the lower calorie options in it.
Yeah.
And it's, I think for most people, once they get into that rhythm, like you are, is it easier, or do you still see it as the other way around? Like,
no, I just see it as the norm. It's like, well, right. It's just your focus on the protein, really. You've got to like, that's me first focus, really, with it. I mean, sometimes I go over the calories to get the protein in, but not much.
Yeah.
But then if I'm going out, I'll go out. Like tonight, I'm going out, I'll go out. And it's like,
and just have whatever.
Yeah. And then, like I say, I won't have any guilt. I will put it up tomorrow morning. I'll be back on it.
Yeah.
That's the way I've been all the way through, to be honest. I mean, if I've had a night out, like I say, I'll go out, but the next day, back on it.
Yeah.
Try and trim the calories down. Maybe it's the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Right. And how often are these night out? Or let's say from them 11 months, how often have been those out and just guilt-free night out, really?
Maybe every 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
I mean, some of them might come in a bunch. Some of them might come in a bunch together. But as a rule, it was like every 4 or 5 months, every 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. To be fair, isn't it?
You just lead a normal existence. It's just a case of like, tell what you said in your thing before. You have to be in a calorie deficit, and it's like you need to work out how that's going to suit you. Yeah. And I got on like a roll with the weight loss, so I sort of stayed with it. But I could understand people who'd like, right, well, I'm sick of losing weight now. But I think what the key would be then is like, not just go off the rails. Yeah. Just up your calories to maybe 2005, 2006, and then just maintain for a couple of months, and then get back on it.
Attack, yeah. That's what we've done with a few of them. This shred round where they've just missed it just by a bit, and it's like, right, well, we're just going to put you 12 weeks maintenance. Yeah. And then we'll diet again, because you've dieted fucking for 11 months, which is unreal and unheard of, innit? Like from even your couple of years here, it's like it is quite unheard of. But you have done it. But same again, you've enjoyed it. You've done fucking exactly what people should do. If you need a night out, have a night out. Just now, it's not going to be as big of a loss. Yeah, innit? Mad. Right, so so 232 pounds 31st of December down to 193.5 25th of March, so that's 38.5 pounds in 12 weeks. How have you found the last 12 weeks? Because I know we've had a few blips. It was not blips as in blips of the diet, but blips as in like, fuck's sake.
I was like, the first week and a half or so went well. It was like, and then it was just like the scale stopped moving. It's just like, and then it was, then moved a bit again. Like I say, I was taught to Luke, spoke to Dan as well. Like, try and increase your water, try and get your water levels more consistent.
You were fucking messaging me like a madman.
So then it was like, you just told us to fuck off, which didn't really help. So then it was like, then I dropped down, and it was like, looked in the mirror, and it's like, when you've been like big for so long, I mean, you might not be able to like comprehend this, but it's like, people are like, oh, you look really well, and it's like, you look in the mirror and think, well, you don't like. Yeah. And there comes a point where you realise, and then it was like, I was halfway through the shred, and I thought, you know what it is, I'm happy now, but I thought, well, I'm halfway through now, there's no point jacking it in now. Yeah. So then the scale stopped moving again. It's like, you know, I'm like, that bothered. And then, like I say, I lost like 10, 11 pounds the last week. Yeah. But it's, you know, when people talk about, like, trainers talk about, like, well, like, I know Luke said it on a couple of occasions, it's like, you don't need to track. Because if all you eat is healthy foods, then you can't eat too much of it. Yes. And like, when there was no carbs that last week, it was like, because you know when you said like 1,700 calories for men, so I was like, I'd set me thinking about that, and there was like, there's a couple of times.
The final week, didn't ever fucking get to 1,700 calories, people just,
No, it was just for the final week, but it was like, so you eat, I was eating like omelette, ham and eggs, chicken and it was like, there was a couple of times where I still had like 200 calories left, and it's like, I can't eat any more of that. Yeah,
because it's pure protein, basically, that last week, isn't it? Yeah, so fucking.
And then the last day you're hyper, aren't you, with all the carbs.
But it is like, the thing is, because your emotions were all over the place in that, like, it was week 4 or 5-ish.
It was about like week 4. It was towards the end of January, towards like mid to end of Feb. Yeah. When it was a bit of a struggle.
And you've got to think of it like, think of all that weight you've lost, but then you're getting lighter, so it's even harder.
Yeah.
But I know you're even pushing harder in that bit, but once you get to certain points, it is just that slowly chipping away.
It is one of the things, it's a plateau, but you're not used to it, are you? When you're seeing the skills moving, you're not used to the fact of like, well, it's only a little bit, or sometimes it just won't. I mean, people are like, well, your body shape will change. It's like, but like I just said earlier on, it's like sometimes you can't see it yourself.
Yeah. Yes, it's 100% agree. But you still fucking manage, even with the little, fuck's sakes, 38.5 in 12 weeks. I know a lot of it was the water loading at the end, but even so, that's massive for anybody. That's even massive for somebody who was like, if 300 pounds or something like that to start with.
Well, I lost 11 pound the last week, so
yeah, so it's like 20,
the last week, so it was 28.
Even fucking so, isn't it? Especially for. What's that? 9 month of dieting prior to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
8 month diet. So, but where it's been. This was I heard on a podcast before. It was about like say someone. I asked Nick here as well. Like where you've been overweight for so long. It's like, and I know it's only been 11 months since you were where you were. But what do you see in the mirror now?
A different person, really.
Do you? Yeah.
Well, it was quite an intro. Like I said, I did the when Luke sent the photos over last Sunday. I said I did like a side by side one.
Yes, yeah.
And I showed it to Joshua, and he went, "That one's Daddy." He went, "That one's fake."
Yeah.
So he like I say, for all these seasons every day, it's like he doesn't comprehend that one on
the old one,
the one on the left. That was me.
But because he sees you every day, though, isn't it? That's been a plus for him, I suppose. Because what was the fact? It was something like it takes a good couple of years to realise like you are now that person type thing.
I mean, I think it's one of them. People will say you look great, and it's like, and it's lovely when they say it, but you're like you can't see it.
Yeah.
It takes a while for you to see it, and it's like I can look back to the photos now where people have said, "Well, you know, you've done really well." And it's like now I can see a difference, but I couldn't back then.
Yeah.
Because you just look and thinking, well.
You're not where you want to be.
Yes. You know what I mean? You might turn around and say like, I mean, like someone said, well, you don't really need to lose any more weight. You've lost enough, and it's just like, I think it's a perception of how people see you. When people see you all the time and people know you, if they've known you like it was my brother-in-law for example, she turned around and said, I don't think you need to lose any more, and it's like, I think if you showed her a picture of someone without the head on and just said, right, what do you think of that body shape? You'd probably say, oh, it's not too bad, but they could do with losing a few pounds. But because it's you and you've lost so much, to think, no, you've lost too much. I think that's just a natural way of people, like, because you look different, it's wrong. It's not you.
Yeah.
Where the reality is, it's like, well, I wanted to get a healthy body fat percentage, which I'm probably about there now. 100%. And it's like, that was my focus. So it wasn't so much like what weight I was at. I mean, I got Luke to work it out for us, and that was ultimately the end goal of like, whatever it was, £198 or near enough.
195, we hated in on that day, didn't we? Something around that, wasn't it on the day? But yeah, that 198, fucking unreal, man. Especially for height as well, you're not a small person.
No.
I think the perception is with them, those people as well, but so imagine, say you were 230 pounds, right? Like, they always knew you was 230 pounds. Then those people would probably think,
if you lost 30 pounds, yeah, you look great now.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just still at the same place as you are now, but they used to seeing you, well, up to 310 pounds high. And that was, how many years were you that? I know you went up and down a little bit in life.
Last couple of years.
Yeah, just last couple of years.
Well, I went up, I probably put a couple of stone on the last couple of years.
Right.
But I mean, I hovered around the 20 stone mark for, well, quite a few years after that. It's like, I was just saying to someone the other day, it's the only time in my adult life I can remember not having a beer belly.
Brilliant. So how do people react when they see you now then? It's for someone who hasn't seen you in a while? Well, there must be a few work people or
there's a few people and they're like, fucking hell, what's happened to you?
Aye.
I mean, Dave, a lad we work with in Holland, I mean, I haven't seen him since I left Holland. Because, like I say, he works on the job at Blythe. And like I say, we've never had any work there, so we've never been back there. And like when I posted the photo, he commented on that, but then he texted us. And he's like, fucking hell, what? He said, fucking unreal.
Yeah.
But he's never seen us since then.
Have you ever come across somebody who you haven't seen and they don't actually recognise you?
Well, it was quite funny. I went up there. I went up to Bransworth Golf Club on Sunday, to get some new golf t-shirts. And I walked in, and I was in the shop 2 weeks before Christmas. Yeah. To see Davey, and he was like, "Oh, you've lost loads of weight." And I went in. I was like, "All right, Fletch," and he said, "I looked a couple of times, but I didn't recognise you." And there was probably only 3 stone difference then. Mid-December to last weekend.
Oh, well, last podcast, really, wasn't it? I think we did the podcast in November, didn't we?
It was a bit after that.
November, yeah, 76. Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't recognise you at first.
Aye. And how, like, does anyone treat you different or not? No. I know no, not yet, right. Because I think it's like talking to Nikki, and she was saying like people talk to you different, like because obviously she's been like a bigger girl and then down, and then like when she tells people she used to be a certain size, she says it's like people actually talk to her differently, in a way. But you haven't experienced that yet.
I mean, people do. People just turn around and say like, well, you know what I mean? I mean, like big scruffers as well. It's not now. They don't know. They're just like, it's just
just normal now. So what? I mean, what's the goals now?
Don't know.
Because you've hit the weight loss. Like, I mean, me, Luke, would never recommend going even further down now. You've done that bit.
I don't know. I mean, when I looked at when I started doing the shredder, like I got like 8-9 weeks in, I was like, should I have done it or should I have put a bit more muscle mass on first? And then I thought, I don't know.
You've done a full body reset.
So I think it's a case of I'll just stick where I am for the next couple of months, enjoy the summer, and then just see where we're at the end of summer. Yeah. Then I might consider doing a bit more. Don't know whether we're doing the calories.
No, do that. Would you recommend one?
Even next year, I don't think I could do one.
No, it's you've got to think of that, and like but the thing is, you've already answered your own question in like, should I have put more muscle mass on in this one? So it's like if you're thinking of that now, maybe you should it not just be to add the mass? I don't think you should have, by the way. I think like losing the weight all first and then obviously build it up, because I think everybody should do that first. Lose the weight first, even if they're starting weights, whatever else, they should lose that first. Actually, I didn't ask you a question at the start. What's your training been like? Because most, no. I mean, with Luke. No, not what's your training been like, say with Luke, it's like, because a lot of people, I had a girl start the barbell over Sunday, it's like, can I actually lose weight doing just weights? So has the majority of your training just been the 4 sessions?
Aye, and the steps, 4 sessions and the steps. Yeah. I mean, I walk a lot more. I mean, I would just go in the car to Morrison's, which is born out of laziness really, because it's only at the bottom of the street. Right. It's half an hour there and back, and that's walking around Morrison, and that's getting the stuff off from Morrison's as well. It's like, so you shouldn't really take the car, but I mean, I did last night, like, because it was lashing down, but that's because it was lashing down. I'm not going down to but yeah, like I say, it's just the steps and the weights really.
I try and tell people that all the time. Like when you fucking see us rant every single day, and it is like even the people on the shred, the only session I ever ask them to do is that extra Saturday just for a little bit of a boost and get the steps in around it. But a lot of people are adamant they must do like 4 other hit sessions, blah blah blah, and you didn't an 8A.
I think if I did that, I wouldn't be able to. I mean, like I say, apart from, I mean, you don't get much choice with Luke, like, but apart from the last week, it was like the weights didn't really drop, did they? Apart from the last week, but they probably went up, didn't they, in most places? But the last week, he was nice to us. It was probably the last day, really. But I think if you start doing loads of cardio sessions, then your weights are going to drop, and then you're not going to get. Then you won't be building the muscle mass for the underneath. I mean, it's quite interesting when you hear people turn around and say, "Well, you'll not lose weight lifting weights." Well, you will.
Yeah.
It's like the science behind it, isn't it? There's like, well, because if you're doing cardio, is it right? What I've read with, if you're doing cardio, as soon as you stop doing cardio, you stop burning fat. Where when your muscles repair, you're using calories to do it.
You are. That's right.
So in theory, you're doing a weight session. You're losing weight while you're doing it, and then you'll be losing weight.
What's the funky word for it? Like what people use as a buzzword? Is it metabolic fucking where you're still burning calories afterwards? No, people used to stick it in the boot camps as like a buzzword for it, like where you're still burning calories afterwards because your muscles are tore. Nah, fuck with Luke.
Something like that.
But basically you're right, when you are repairing your body, you do burn more calories and stuff like that, and people do burn themselves out in the cardio section when they should be focusing on just the strength gains and then just getting the steps in, or light bike, something like that. What do you use for your cardio? Like when you're cutting down? Walk, yeah. Mad, innit? We'll win one day. But
I think it's a case of with exercise, you need to do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I made my feelings well known with the Saturday sessions that carnage is not my cup of tea. So if I'd started doing carnage, would I have stuck it? Probably not.
Nah.
But like, I enjoy lifting weights. Like the crack's really good in the groups.
Yeah.
Well, when people turn up.
Karen,
Janine,
yeah.
But that's it. You've got to do something you enjoy,
yeah.
or you'll not stick it. If you hate doing it, you'll not do it for long periods. And if you've got a lot of weight to lose, you need to do it for long periods.
Yeah.
It needs to become part of life, and you won't do it if you hate it. Like if people just like, so how many calories how many steps in that have I got to do so I can have a bottle of wine? It's like, well, that's never going to work that like. No. Because you're seeing it as a punishment.
Yes.
Straight away.
Yeah.
It's a chore where you go to work all day and then you come here and it's like, I come here for not a break, but it's a bit of like your own time and it's a laugh. Like I say, it's hard work, but it is rewarding as well. Where if I hated it, you'd be like, you've had a hard day at work, and then I'm coming there, and it's like, nah.
Yeah, gearing yourself to do burpees.
Aye, you'd just be standing there. you would though. You get in the house and it'd be like, nah, I'm not going there. Yeah. Where a barbell session, you're like, nah, I'm gone. Even if you don't feel like going, you're like, nah, I'm gone. Because I know I'll feel better when I get here. But with a cardio session, I'd be going thinking, well, I don't want to go, and I won't like it while I'm there.
Oh, fucking hell! This isn't going to be great for the carnage viewers, is it?
No, but it is though. You sit at the take table, you'll probably get the other side from some people. Some people are like, well, I just don't like lifting weights.
Yeah. Or we get people who absolutely love it. They love the sweatiness of it. That's the thing. I don't like the sweat.
Kirsty does. Kirsty loves them both. I mean, I think she's been more focused since she's done barbell, but she still loves the cardio sessions because she enjoys doing it, which is great. I mean, not everything's for everybody.
No.
It's like running. I'm not a very good. I'm not a very good runner. I can't run very quickly. I'm probably walking the same speed I can run if I'm honest.
Right.
And it's like, I find it boring.
Yeah.
I did it for a while when I lost some weight a few years ago, and it was like, this is boring. This.
Yeah.
It's like going out for a walk. It's like, I don't mind that. It's like, it's a bit of scenery, you got to. But running's just like. But then some people love running, don't they? Yeah. Some people they'll train for marathon after marathon after marathon. Everyone's love for exercise is different. You've just got to find something that you like doing.
And the walk, and especially with weight loss, I was actually thinking about it in the car on the way here. Like, it's so great because it's so low impact. It's so low impact, and you can do it for. You can do it for hours, can't you? Well, exactly. Compared to half an hour running, you could probably walk for 2 hours and feel fine, and you'd burn a lot more doing the walking because you can consistently do that every single day. And it's what you've done. We were talking to someone, weren't we, a few months ago, on the one about running and how many more calories you're burning. You hit the nail on the head. You went, how long can you run for? An hour, max. How long can you walk for? 2 or 3 hours. And you're only burning a little bit more calories running, aren't you? Yeah, it's not actually walking for me. I always use me as an example, but in an hour I burn 500 calories. Yeah. And that's for and I'm not that heavy, like 180 pounds or something like that. So I'm not that heavy, but I still burn that amount in an hour. And if I was to fucking run an hour, that would be then, and I'd need 2 days rest. 8 Well, for calories wise, for running, yeah. But it's like, but that would fuck me up for a few days, or at least a day where I wouldn't get me steps in then the next day because my legs would be knackered. And especially for someone who's over, like, say, a 250-pound person, right, I'm going to run. It's like you're going to be fucked for a few days every time.
Yeah.
So you're best off just doing that, but people just want that, thinking that's the thing.
It's when I was listening to Matty's podcast and on about like instant gratification. It's like you can't get in that mindset. You need to, if you want an instant result, what you need to think about the instant result is you need to think, well, I have to lose 2 pounds this week, and that has to be instant result. Yeah. Because if you think, well, I need to lose 8 stone, it's like, well, how long is it realistically going to take you? You know, it's going to take you years, isn't it, or a year or so at least. Yeah. To do it, you can't just think, well, right, I need to lose that. You need to break it down and like.
That's a lot of goals. Yeah, a lot of 2 pound goals, isn't it? Yeah. But that's I like that actually. You'll be seeing that in a post in the group.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Your goals have got to be realistic. Your time scales have got to be realistic. That's why when I started, my time scale was like 2 years to get to pretty much where I am now. Yeah. And it was like the shred wasn't on the radar till I think it got to about September-ish time. And I'd lost quite a bit. And Luke did me, what do they call it? Where you do the measurement? Where you measure your neck, your waist, and. Body fat. No, but you've got there was a body fat calculator. Right. Like, that's where you need. And then the 40s you went, and that's where you need to be. And I was like, and it was like, I could probably hit that by Christmas, like.
I think we set it out. If you hit X amount,
it was 230 to start. 230 to start, wasn't it?
Yeah,
or 228 to start the shred, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was 232 on the 31st of December on New Year's Eve.
I know, but the shred didn't start the second.
I know.
I was under it by the second.
But you did it. That's the main thing. So we've done the goals. Last one then. So what's the advice and say the main ingredient you have done where so many failed on big goals like yours? I mean, I think you've covered most of it in there, but like, what's say the main ingredient? What's worked for you? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's just consistency, really. You've got to have. I mean, you like I say, like it says over there, you've got to remember why you started. It's you had a goal when you started, and you need to just need to focus on that goal. And if you get to somewhere and you're happy there, and it's like, well, you need to ask yourself, are you really happy, or do you want to go that bit further? Yeah. Because I mean, I could have. My first goal was like, well, I can't get anything to fit as clothes wise, so I could have just jacked the weight loss in like September, October when I could go to a shop and buy clothes, but it's just like, no, that's not where I want to be. So then you need to refocus and like go again. But I think you've just got to break it down into manageable chunks. Right. Do you write these down or anything? No. No? Just all in the head? It's in my head. Aye. I think, like you say, if you've got a massive goal, and you focus on the very end, it's like it'll seem so far out of sight that you'll not get there. Where if you just focus on like small bits at a time, it was like when the progress photos at the time we would take them every week, weren't we? Yeah. And that started annoying us at one point because it was like I'd look at the photos and think, well, they're no different to last week's. So then I just like, on the old app. On the old app. Yeah. So I just started sending a blank screen, and then Sarah was like, why aren't you sending us photos? And I just said, well, I'm only going to take them every time I've lost a stone. Right. Okay. So every time I got to whatever stone 2, I took them. Yeah. And then you could see a difference. So then it was like that was my goal. It was like right. So I just took it like a stone at a time, really. Right. And it's like sending us one about 60 pounds in, something like that as well. Yeah. So that was my goal. That was how I broke it down. I just broke it down to a stone at a time. So when I started, I was like 22 stone, 2 pounds. So it was like every time I got to whatever stone 2 pounds, that was me like target. Mint. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, buddy. Look forward to the rest of your journey. Cheers, bud.